Camila, and Mommy is over here, and I'm eating Pop-Tarts. Introducing Mommy.
Well, thank you. Okay, let's get started.
One thing that everybody has lost sight of in all of the controversy, all of the litigation, and all of the drama is what is in the best interest of Britney Spears. Can anyone believe, can anyone disagree that it is not in the best interest of the conservatee for James Spears to be a co-conservator?
Hello friends, how are you guys today? I hope you guys are all having an amazing day so far. My name is Shanda and welcome to my channel. I first want to start off this video like every other video and let you guys know that I appreciate it so much that you clicked on this video. I really hope that you enjoy it, and if you don't enjoy it, I really hope you would at least give it a chance. But if you guys are returning to my channel, thank you guys so much for returning to my channel. It really means a lot to me and I really appreciate it. So today we are going to get into Britney's court hearing. As you all know, she went to court a couple of days ago, and I have the transcripts, so I know everything that was said, everything that Britney said, what all the other lawyers said, their thoughts and opinions on it. So we're going to break down and analyze the entire court hearing, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions as well. And of course, I want to hear everything that you guys think down below as well. So why don't you guys sit back and relax and let's talk about it. Okay guys, so I first want to apologize. I have a ton of notes right here and I have written down everything that everybody is saying, and I don't have stuff to put up on the screen for you guys, so you're just going to be just looking at me, sorry. And I want to read it word for word and get everything correct. So if you see me looking down a lot more than in all my other videos, it's because my notes are right here and I don't want to mess anything up. So let's go ahead and get started. So when the hearing first started, Judge Penny asked if there was anyone in the courtroom who would like to speak on behalf of Britney. And that is when Matthew Rosengart stood up and he spoke, and he actually went and sat at a table and at the council table, and he spoke and he said he would like to represent Britney. And Britney was on the line and she said, "Yes, ma'am, I want him to represent me." Then Judge Penny asked about his credentials and his experience and everything like that. So they talked about all his credentials and everything like that for a while. And then she allowed him to stay in the courtroom and pretty much be Britney's attorney. So as of right now, Britney finally, at the first time in 13 years, has her own attorney who she picked herself. So applause, everybody. Applause for that. That is amazing. Whew, that was just like a for everybody. But first they spoke about the resignation of Loeb and also the resignation of Bessemer. Now, I spoke about this in my last video when I was talking about the motions that they were going to go over, but Bessemer was made the co-conservator of Britney's estate on November 10th, 2020. But Samuel Ingham did not file the paperwork until June 30th, 2021. And then July 1st, Bessemer withdrew as the co-conservator of the estate. Now, in my last video, I said, now allegedly, who told Sam to do that? Who told him to hold off on that? Now, in my research this week, I have been digging deep into old court documents and old motions that were filed and everything like that. And I saw that when they made Bessemer the co-conservator of Britney's estate, Jamie was just flooding the court with motions here and there, like just motions left and right, trying to make sure that Bessemer did not have equal power to him. He wanted to make sure he had more power than Bessemer, and then he also wanted to make sure that Bessemer could not look into the books. They're going to be the co-conservator of the estate, but they can't look into the books. Like, it didn't make any sense. But he was denied on every single motion, and Bessemer was made co-conservator of Britney's estate, and they had equal power as Jamie, and they were able to look into the books. But somebody, Samuel Ingham, did not file the paperwork until one day before they resigned. And let's not forget, Bessemer also said that Samuel Ingham was the one who misled them and told them that Britney was cool with this and her conservatorship was voluntary. So when they heard Britney speak, they were like, we heard her, we don't want any part of this, we're out. And the judge said that it was pretty easy. It should be an easy resignation because they were never actually on the books. They never actually did anything. So Jamie, like, really didn't want Bessemer looking at the books, and he got denied. But then Samuel Ingham, Britney's attorney, he just helped Jamie out and didn't file any paperwork until it was too late and they wanted out. And then that way they never were able to look at the books. Interesting. And I remember saying that I believed since day one that Samuel Ingham was on Jamie's payroll, because the very first thing he said to the courts about Britney was completely just repulsive and atrocious, and he completely lied through his teeth and said that Britney was like a comatose patient and she can't even sign a document. She can't even move right now. But then her other attorney that she spoke with that same week said that he talked to her and she was fine and she retained him and she understood what was going on. So him just not filing that paperwork for 9 months just gives me more like validation of what I thought in the beginning and still think now. But it just, it irks me, you guys. It irks me so bad that Bessemer was never able to actually go in and look at these books and figure out where her money was going and what was going on. But everybody breathe now, because Matthew Rosengart is on the case now. He is her new attorney, and I'm sure he's going to be looking into that. So, Vivian chimed in, and she is Jamie's attorney, one of his many attorneys. She's like the main one. And she said, she asked if Matthew was now her attorney or what. And then there was some confusion going on, and Matthew spoke and said Britney has a 5th and 6th Amendment right to hire her own attorney. She is also entitled under the probate code to hire her own attorney as well. And Matt, I'm trying not to call him just Matt, but I'm trying to call him Mr. Rosengart. But Mr. Rosengart also said that just by hearing Britney's statement on June 23rd, that that is proof that Britney is more than capable of hiring her own attorney, which, yeah, I agree. I mean, she evidently has the capacity. She knows exactly what is going on, so she should be able to hire her own attorney. So, Mr. Rosengart then said that it was Britney's desire to choose and hire her own attorney and to end the conservatorship, so he would be filing that with the court. So there is also a woman named Zoe, and she was representing the ACLU, and she said that she agreed with Matt regarding Britney's capacity. She also said that she wanted to make an additional point, which was an amazing point, I thought. And she said that she wanted to make sure that Britney had enough access to lawyers and confidentiality. And she wanted to make sure that Britney had unmonitored internet access and was able to do her own research. And if not, then they wanted the court to wait on their decision making, and the ACLU, or that lady Zoe, said that the ACLU was willing and wanted to help Britney make a decision if she felt rushed in making this one, the one that she made of Matthew. The ACLU said that they just wanted to make sure that Britney had enough time and was able to do her own research and had enough time just to make sure that Matthew Rosengart was not someone that just snuck in there under the radar and that could possibly be on Jamie's payroll. And she just wanted to make sure that Matthew was not someone that just snuck in there and that it was someone that they were trying to force upon Britney like they did before. Zoe said that they did not necessarily think that, but they just wanted to make sure that Britney had the time. Britney then said that she wanted to speak with the court, but she wanted the courtroom cleared out first. So she wanted it all private. She didn't want anybody to hear what she was getting ready to say. Then, like later on, she changed her mind and said that she would speak with the court openly for everyone to hear. Britney did say that she did not want any third party to help her in the choosing of an attorney. That would just be another person from the state that was on Britney's payroll that Britney was going to have to pay to help her choose an attorney when she already had one chosen and had one that she likes. Ooh, there's lots of thunder tonight. It's storming like really bad outside. But at first, when Jodi Montgomery's lawyer filed that motion about getting Britney a guardian ad litem, and then that guardian ad litem would, choose or help Britney and then retain the attorney for her, so there was no need for capacity. At first, I thought it would be like a great idea since there was no need for medical or mental capacity if the guardian ad litem was retaining the attorney, but since like Judge Penny allowed who Britney chose to be her attorney, then that's way better than going through a guardian ad litem and then like, so it's just way better. And if Britney doesn't want a third party helping her choose, then she doesn't need a third party helping her choose. I just thought that it would be a good idea because it kind of snuck under the little radar there of mental capacity where she didn't need to have it. But obviously she does have it if the judge is letting her retain her own counsel. Finally. Okay, then Vivian then speaks, and Vivian is Jamie's lawyer, and she said that she just wanted to note that Jamie had no issue with Britney hiring her own counsel, or having her own counsel. Samuel Ingham, he said that Britney wanted to interject, and he said that he did not want to continue as like an intermediate person, but Britney texted him and she has the right to interject if she wants to. And then Britney said, I was just texting you because I could not get through to my lawyer. I did not mean to text you though. And I thought that was funny. Good, yeah, good for you, Britney. Ingham said that he has not ever attempted to control or filter anything, and Britney has her own independent phone line, whatever, but please accept his resignation because it is not in Britney's best interest to have two lawyers on the hook. Like, that was very, that was very interesting. On the hook, like, what did he mean by that? I don't know. But Britney then said, she spoke again, and she said she texted him because she did not have her lawyer's number in her phone. And then when I was watching the live stream, that surprise witness and Leanne Simmons were together, and they were the ones reading the transcript. They were the two that went into the courtroom and got all these notes, and they were in there while Britney was talking and everything, and they wrote everything down. And this is how we have that today. And that surprise witness, she has her own YouTube channel as well. I suggest you go check it out. It's great. She is actually an attorney, and she talks about law stuff on her channel, and she's pretty awesome. She's very dedicated in this movement. And then Leanne Simmons is a Free Britney advocate as well. I've talked to her on Twitter many times. She's helped me a lot in my research. She is amazing as well. But these two ladies are the ones who were inside the courtroom, and they were the ones who came out and read all this. But they both pointed out that when Britney said in her phone, they both pointed out, they said in her new phone, the phone that she just got and she's finally allowed to have. So, like, I guess Britney, because Britney was never allowed to have a phone. She was never allowed to even have her own phone. But she said my lawyer's number in my phone, and they're like, yeah, her new phone. So, like, pointing out that Britney just now got a phone after she spoke out. They're trying to, like, you know, give her all her stuff, like, all of a sudden. But anyway, and then that is when Matthew, Britney's lawyer, chimes in, and he said maybe they should close the courtroom in case Britney speaks about any medical issues or anything like that. And then Britney said, quote, I don't mind if it's open. So Judge Penny said, okay, Britney, go ahead and make your statement. Okay, so this is what Britney said, and this is her full statement that she said on July 14th at her court hearing. I am here. I want to make it clear who I want for my own lawyer. I want to get rid of my dad, and I want to petition to end the conservatorship without an evaluation. She said she is done with these stupid psych tests. She is not willing to end it right now if she has to be evaluated. She wrote a map of a schedule from when she was in the program against her will. She said, I was threatened. I should have never been threatened when I was made to go to this made-up program. I was always extremely scared of my dad. There was 9 people with me. I have abandonment issues. People kept leaving me. Even my kids and my boyfriend have had to leave me. She said she was there for 20 hours a week, but she couldn't leave at all. She said she was scared of her dad, and she recounted a time when she was younger. She said someone left her like at a dance studio for like hours and hours, and she kept being re-traumatized at this center that she was forced to go to because she was having flashbacks of all the other times when people have abandoned her. She said, I wasn't only expected to work for 6 to 7 or 4 to 6 hours a day, but I was expected to be available for 10 hours a day also. From the time I opened my eyes, from the time I went to sleep. She said, I haven't even heard of a part-time job being like that. It was 20 hours a week, and I am working for these people. She also said that when she was in the treatment facility, they took away her hair vitamins and they threw it away. And she had bought all of those with her own money. Now she said, quote, ma'am, that's not abuse, that's just fucking cruelty, end quote. She said they took coffee away from her. They wouldn't let her eat hamburgers or fries, even on the weekend. She said, quote, I'd like to get rid of my dad today, and honestly, I would like to charge him with conservatorship abuse after he broke down the door and shook my son. Yeah. She spoke about having no coffee, no privacy. She said that she had to change naked 3 times a day in front of these people that she didn't even know. It was humiliating and embarrassing. I had no say in what I would do. I couldn't even eat a hamburger or a cheeseburger. Whenever she said this was cruelty, she said the only reason that I could think of that they did this to me was that they were trying to kill me. That's a quote. She wants an investigation on her dad. Apparently, a while ago, she was pulled over and she was going 10 miles. I thought they said 10 miles an hour, but I'm sure maybe 10 miles over the speed limit, maybe. She said she was going 10 miles over. We'll just go with that. I think that sounds more like it. She said she was in her car. She didn't get a ticket. The officer just told her to slow down. She said her dad took away her license for 8 months. She said no one's keys should be taken away like that for that long for something like that. Now she then said her dad and his lawyers filed this whole investigation into the things that she said. And then she said, I don't need to be the one being investigated. You should investigate him. She said, investigate the conservator. Why do I have to be the one getting investigated? I want to press charges on him today. I want him gone today. She said, I am here to press charges. I am angry. She said, I know you're wondering why I just won't be evaluated. She said, during the circus tour, I was told if I was good and I followed the rules and I was good, then they would end the conservatorship. So I am sick of being evaluated. and they keep dangling it like they will end it. So they keep like dangling it in front of her, like, we'll end it if you do this for us. And they never do. She also said she has had these extensive psych evaluations 3 times, and not only did they not end the conservatorship like they told her they would if she did it, but she was re-traumatized every time, and she said she's just not willing to do it again. And she shouldn't have to. She does not want her intelligence to be questioned. She said she will provide to the judge a schedule. She said she did a map-up of her schedule she was subjected to in that treatment facility, and she will provide that to the judge. She said it was 70 hours a week. That's illegal, no matter what these stupid people say. End quote. She said, that's illegal, no matter what these stupid people say. She said, quote, they tried to make me seem crazy, which I am not. End quote. You tell it, Britney. She said, my family hasn't done anything. My dad and my whole family was at my beach house in Dustin, I couldn't really hear him, while I was locked up at the facility. So, oh, that's nice. Her dad and her whole family, so all this, you know, speculationism, is that a word? All this speculation around whether she's talking about her sister or not. She keeps saying, my dad and my whole family. So I'm pretty sure she's talking about her sister, but so when they locked her up against her will in this treatment facility that she was re-traumatized at and was just having a horrible time, and they were horrible to her, while she's locked up here, her entire family is at her beach house that she owns, just hanging out. That's great. She said she was not allowed to leave that facility. Last time she spoke on June 23rd, she reiterated that. She said that she was not even allowed to walk out the front door. And now she's saying that again. So I don't think she, you know, can't remember anything. She's saying it again. She said she was not allowed to leave, but everyone else was going in and out. She was not allowed to leave, and she also called it illegal. She said she had breakdowns or tantrums or been overwhelmed or stuff like that. It was entirely in default of the people in charge of this conservatorship. So she said, yeah, I've had traumas, I've had breakdowns, I've had tantrums, I've been overwhelmed or whatever. But everything that I've done like that was entirely in default of the people who are in charge of this conservatorship. So they're the ones doing this to her, pretty much. She then said that the thing that made her crazy at all, if she is crazy, is that her family didn't do anything. Yeah, that would make anybody crazy, right? She said, my dad wants this investigation now, but when I was in there, he was getting drunk in my beach house with the rest of my family. She said her father drunk called her from her own beach house when she was in that facility. And while she was locked up, he called her drunk from her own house that she owns, and he told her, well, if you're in there, then there must be something wrong with you. This man. So this is when, unfortunately, Britney started crying. She started breaking down when she was talking. And she tried to compose herself. She said, whatever, this is abuse. Remove my dad today. And eventually, maybe I can have Jodi come in and help me get my confidence back up so I can get back into the real world. But I am completely unwilling to sit through an evaluation. My dad has got to go today. She said, I want my dad gone today. Again, I want to work on getting my confidence back and to get back into the real world. And I want an investigation today. And then she said, that's it. That's all I wanted to say. Then Matthew Rosengart, her attorney, speaks and said, you know, I don't want to talk about the strategy, but there is a certain amount of garden variety issues that happen in conservatorships, like the me petition and the things about that. We should push those off and really get into what's really important here, which is Britney's best interest. Which, yeah, I agree. He said we should just declare all of this stuff, like people who want 1.5 million and 500,000 for media tours and unlimited money for security. Let's just not talk about that right now, is what he said. He wants to not talk about all these money issues that people are just wanting all her money for this or that. He said we won't talk about that today. We need to talk about Britney's best interest. So then Jodi's lawyer chimes in and she said that it was so hard to hear Britney speak. Britney, we are here for you, okay? Okay, then Judge Penny said, out of the 15 things that we had to decide today, one of those things was Jodi's petition for a guardian ad litem. She then said, I am going to deny that today since Britney has her a lawyer now. Woo! So that was confirmation. Britney has her own lawyer. Okay, Jodi's lawyer then said, I would really like to talk about item 5013, which is, of course, the security. So, of course, they want to talk about, Britney's new lawyer just said, let's not talk about money and who wants this much from Britney, that much from Britney. Let's talk about her best interest. And then Jodi's lawyer says, I would like to talk about item 5013, which is, of course, the security that they wanted an unlimited amount of money for. Judge Penny then said, as for the ACLU's petition in assisting Britney to get a lawyer, that is denied as well. She then mentions that Jamie and his lawyer, Vivian, filed objections to Jodi getting money for security. And this is when Vivian, Jamie's lawyer, speaks, and she said, well, if Mr. Rosengart doesn't object, then we will withdraw our objection. We just think it's expensive for one person out of all of these people who can make similar claims to having death threats and such. So she's basically saying they think it's really expensive for one person to get all of this security when everybody else in the conservatorship or that's running the conservatorship can easily say that they are getting death threats and such as well. So I don't know if she's saying that they don't even believe that she's getting any death threats. I don't know. She continues and says many other people are basically in the same boat, and I will go as far to say that they have had far worse quality of death threats, including minor children, and that it is ridiculous to prioritize the safety of one person, which is Jodi. Minor children have been threatened with death, which are Jamie's grandchildren from his other daughter, Jamie Lynne, including one who is under 5 years old. So Jamie's lawyer is sitting here saying that we shouldn't, spend all this money on Jodi having all this security when Jamie's grandchildren are also being threatened with death threats and he's not, getting all this security for them or whatever. Which, I don't know if that's even true. He's never said anything about it before. There's no proof of that. But, I don't know. I don't see why people would be, I don't know. There's crazy people out there. I can't speak for everybody, but, why would you threaten, if anybody, I would think, I'm not going to say that. Not the kids there. But, again, Vivian said that if Matt consents to this, then they will, withdraw their objection. Jodi's lawyer then butts in and says that Jodi has been doing security updates on her home, and it is just heartbreaking to see that she has to do all these security updates on her home and that she needs this security. And Britney has stalkers too. And Jodi is distinctive of everyone else. Like, she's trying to differentiate Jodi from everybody else and says that Jodi is distinct because Britney wants Jodi to be on this case. So Jodi is the one that should deserve all this extra security, I guess is what she's saying. But honestly, my opinion is that Britney wants Jodi on this case because she knows if Jodi pulls out too, the only one left is her dad, and he's going to be in charge of her person again and everything, which, no, that can't happen. No. Anyway, Jodi's lawyer says, but we're not asking for an unlimited amount of money, which honestly is not true, because in their motion, it said whatever sums were necessary. It didn't say, like, an amount. It said they wanted whatever sums were necessary to keep Jodi safe, pretty much. But she said, we're only asking for $50,000 flat at this point, which I don't know if they changed it or whatever. She then said $3 million for attorney fees, and there's no security for my client. I think these priorities are all wrong. Whatever. And that is when Matt speaks. And he says, I'm not going to object or consent until I talk with my client. So I will talk to Britney and get back with you. Which, bravo, you know, because basically Samuel Ingham was never like that. Whatever anybody ever wanted, he was just like, okay, go ahead. He never talked to Britney, ever. Never asked her opinions on anything, or nothing like that. So these people were probably like, what? You want to talk to Britney? What for? Ugh. Then Vivian says, we will work with them to expedite the resolution of this issue. Jodi's lawyer, Lorianne, her name's Lorianne, said, we need it fast because she needs all this security. She is scared of the death threats, and I am worried about her safety, and it just goes on and on and on. Then Matt says, okay, well, maybe I can have an answer for you by tomorrow, but I am not going to make a decision on Britney's behalf without talking to her. So they go back and forth for a while, and that surprise witness brought this up, and I think it's a really, really good point. But remember, this is an ex parte issue, which means it's an urgent issue. But remember when Sam Ingham told the court that Britney needed to speak to the court, he told the courts that in April. And that was also an ex parte issue. That was also an ex parte issue, which means it was urgent. And she wanted to speak with the court in the next 30 days. But Judge Penny, the best that she had for her was like 60 days or something. But now all of a sudden, she has time to resolve this motion on Monday. This Monday. Because that's when they're going back to resolve this. And it's funny that she didn't have any time in her calendar for over 2 months to let Britney talk to the court. But she has time on her calendar to take more money out of Britney's estate Monday. Just saying. Vivian then says, Jodi is already getting security. The order is a formality, especially when they are only asking for a flat fee, which is a new story to us today. The judge then asked again what to do with the motion, and Lorianne said Monday was fine. The judge then denied Lynne's petition to hire an attorney for Britney, since Britney already has her own lawyer. So like all these motions, and I also heard another lawyer talking about this, and she said she thought it was weird that the judge kept denying these motions instead of just saying, we don't need them anymore, would you like to withdraw this motion? So now it's on the record that they were all denied, instead of, you know, she could have just, you know, said, would you like to withdraw this motion? And then the other motion, she could have just granted it because, you know, she has a lawyer. Because one of Lynne's motions was for them to just allow Britney to get her own lawyer, but she denied that instead of asking them to withdraw it or just granting it. Why not just grant it since she has her own lawyer and that's what the motion was? I mean, I guess I guess a couple other attorneys thought that was just weird, but anyways, Jamie's lawyer Vivian says, I respect Miss Spears' ability to come to court, but no one else has been able to provide their perspective. She gave a very impassioned testimony. My concerns on that were there were a lot of misstatements, misinformation, a lack of understanding, as if Britney doesn't understand, what she witnessed and what she went through from the hands of her father. And Vivian said, and that these were very serious charges. She then said a lack of recollection. Like, what? How can she sit there as a different person and say that Britney has a lack of recollection? You're not Britney. How do you know her memories inside of her head? And how can you state that in court as like fact? Or I don't know. This woman, you guys. She then continues and said that when Britney spoke in June, she said no less than 7 times that she wanted to end the conservatorship. She also said very harsh words towards her father and many people. Yeah, she has a right to. She said Britney also made claims about Jodi Montgomery, like her not letting her get personal care that she needed and things like that. So she continues and said, after the serious claims that Britney made about Jodi, and now she wants Jodi to continue on as her conservator, it raises questions that she made a 180 in the span of just a couple weeks. So she's saying that, like, basically Britney said these harsh things about Jodi Montgomery, but now she wants Jodi to stay on as her conservator. So she's trying to use that in saying that, well, she wants her to stay on, so what she's saying about her dad might not be true, and she might want her dad to stay on here in a couple weeks. She might do another 180. Like, so she's pretty much trying to make Britney seem, you know. But like I said, I think the only reason why Britney wants Jodi to stay on is because she knows if Jodi's gone, then her dad is running everything, and she does not want that at all. Vivian then said many of Britney's characterizations and memories are just incorrect. Is this lady serious right now? How does she know that Britney's memories are incorrect? That's what I want to know. Or did she somehow jump into Britney's brain? And is she looking back in her memories and saying, well, this wasn't what happened? And for her to say that, I just, ugh. She then says Britney's desire to have a baby to appoint Jodi as the conservator alleges that the petition that Sam filed on Jodi's behalf to keep her as a primary conservator of the person, it alleges that Britney does not have the capacity to make her own medical decisions. And I just want to say that no capacity declaration has ever been filed on this case. So to say that Britney has no capacity to make her own medical decisions is outright ridiculous. That has never been determined once, not once in this case. And Vivian confirmed that today in court as well. Well, yesterday. So Vivian goes on. No order on Britney's mental health capacity exists. Ding, ding, ding. And the court needs to make certain findings. If we just grant this petition as sole conservator for Jodi, that could necessitate Britney giving away some of her rights, and maybe she doesn't even know that she has those rights. But why didn't Jamie ever tell her in these 13 years that Britney had those rights? Why didn't her own lawyer, Samuel Ingham, ever tell her in 13 years that she has those rights? I don't know. A little strange. Vivian said, consistent with the last time in 2019 when Britney addressed the court for the first time and said all the same things, so whatever happened then should happen now, which was an investigation was granted. Yes. So this woman is saying Britney addressed the court for the first time, and she says that it was the first time ever, which was in 2019, 11 years after her conservatorship. They never let her address the court once in 11 years. I digress. But she says that when she addressed the court in 2019 and made all of these same claims, whatever happened then should happen now. So basically nothing. What, they did an investigation, which came up with nothing, probably. She's basically, and Britney even told the judge, like, I told you all these things and you did nothing, and it made me feel like I was dead, like I didn't matter. But Vivian is now telling the judge, whatever happened then should happen now. So basically, you shouldn't do anything again. That's what she's saying. Whatever happened then should happen now. But I don't know if she realizes this, but she just said that Britney addressed the court 2 years ago and made all of these same claims. Well, 2 years later, Britney's making all of these same claims, then wouldn't that mean that her little thing she said earlier about, well, she did a 180 in a couple weeks with not wanting Jodi or not liking Jodi, and now she wants Jodi to stay on, so basically saying that she might change her mind about her father too. Well, what she said now just kind of blew that out of the water, because she said that she made these statements 2 years ago and she's still making these same statements about her father. So obviously they're the same. Hello. Vivian says that Jamie's not even involved in the day-to-day activity of Britney's life, and he cannot even get any info from Jodi about Britney's medical treatment. Now, I don't know if that's true or not, but whatever. She also goes on to say that she wants the courts to determine what Britney's true desires are. But that's not what her petition said. Her petition said she wanted an evidentiary hearing. And again, as if Britney did not tell the court what her true desires are, like 7 or 8 times. But she's trying to act as if Britney doesn't know what her true desires are. I think if anybody knew what her true desires are, it would be Britney. Alright, Jodi's lawyer, Lorianne, she then speaks and she said, first of all, there are 2 issues here. The first issue is what Britney actually said. The second issue is what we are going to do, what is the process, and to address it. She then said, I don't think it is a secret that we are dealing with a conservatee with a mental illness. Really? There should be a therapeutic process to help her get better. There shouldn't be an evidentiary hearing to pose on her and stress her out. She said, where does this lead us? Putting Britney on the stand, deposing her, cross-examining her? Where does this lead? Don't put her on the stand. The court has been fully informed. Then she said, the pandemic was hard for everyone. She then said, the conservatee has a pre-existing condition that made her predisposed to COVID, and that's why it was really difficult to get her help. Are you kidding me? I've never heard about any pre-existing condition. I've never heard of any medical conditions. So I'd love to know what that is. She said, and indeed the conservatee did not contract COVID, so we were successful in keeping her safe. What? What? Because Britney was complaining, and on June 23rd, she was complaining that she didn't get, during COVID, she didn't get any services. She wasn't able to get her hair done, her nails done, any massages, any acupuncture, nothing. But then her cleaning ladies were coming in and they always had their nails done, and look at my nails, I have none. They always had their like nails redone and new stuff, and their hair and everything, and she never got anything. So now Jodi is the conservator of Britney's person, so it would be Jodi's fault, I guess. And Jodi is now saying no, or her lawyer, excuse me. Her lawyer is saying, well, she has a pre-existing condition that makes her predisposed to COVID, and that's why we couldn't do anything for her. And look, she didn't catch COVID, so we did a great job. What? Ever. She then continued on and said there was hair, there was nails, there were massages, and we're prepared to answer for all of that. Well, you know what? Britney says no, there wasn't. I wonder if they're prepared to make a bunch of fake invoices or something, allegedly. She then says, we're putting together a care plan with the medical team. We are not there during tours. We do not know everything, but we do not need to do an evidentiary hearing. Well, you know what? I'm sure they don't want to do an evidentiary hearing. I'm sure they don't want Britney to go on the stand. I'm sure they don't want her cross-examined, because they just sat here and said she had hair, she had nails, and Britney's going to go up there and say, no, I didn't. So I'm sure they don't want it. She then says, we need to be careful of what goes out in the public. We need to avoid her being cross-examined. Why? The medical team themselves also said, for Britney's health, Jamie has got to go. So the medical team, Britney's medical team, is also saying for Britney's health, he's got to go. He's got to be gone. Lorianne, Jodi's lawyer, also said that Vivian is full of, well, she didn't say this, but she basically said that Vivian is full of shit, basically. She said, she did say, maybe Jamie doesn't make decisions technically, but every single thing that Britney does costs money, and he can say no to whatever he wants. So, in turn, he basically is making the call. Because Vivian said that Jamie's not responsible for any of that. It's all Jodi. And Jodi's lawyer is saying, well, you know, no, she's full of shit, because everything that Britney does or wants to do costs money, and it is Jamie can say no on whatever he wants. So it's basically him making the call for everything. Britney's new lawyer, Matthew Rosengart, he finally speaks. He comes in and just crushes it. He says, what is clear to me is that this is not working. What is at the heart of this proceeding, what should be at the heart of this proceeding, is gone. It's not there. And that's Britney's best interest. I am appalled that Vivian would make such statements. The goal at the end is not a trial. The goal should be to end the conservatorship. My firm is going to be looking into it. But there are questions to whether this, meaning the courtroom, whether this was even a proper forum to hear this in the very first place, like back in 2008, whether the courtroom was the proper forum to even handle this. We're talking about something related to a mental health issue. There were a lot of other things that could have been done. A conservatorship probably wasn't even necessary in the first place. It especially shouldn't have ever been made permanent. So he said he was appalled. He already said that he was appalled at Vivian's statements, but then he looked right at her and was like, I am asking you if your client wouldn't be willing to step down and put his resignation in today. He said, why is he still even involved? He said, is there some kind of conflict here? Is it money, perhaps? He said, I see 10 lawyers on this screen. He said, I don't know the last time I saw 10 lawyers agreeing on one thing. He said, there are people just like Jodi Montgomery who can step in and fill the role of Jamie until we end this conservatorship. He said, does anyone actually believe that Jamie Spears' continued involvement in this case is beneficial to Britney in any way? He said, I would ask Jamie to voluntarily step aside. We have heard Vivian on TV several times talking about how much Jamie loves his daughter. If that were true, then it's time to step aside. Which, yeah. She said it herself. She wants her life back. She wants him gone. So Gladstone Jones then chimes in, and Gladstone is Lynne's lawyer, and he says that he agrees with Matthew Rosengart wholeheartedly. He said this system is broken. This is lawyers gone wild. And he said that Lynne wants to make sure that Mr. Rosengart, takes the time to familiarize himself with this case. He said it is shameful to see the conservators going at each other like this. So Lynne's request is that everyone work together and do what is in Britney's best interest, and for the court to remind everyone that that is the point here. Judge Penny then asks Vivian what she thinks about Jamie stepping aside. So instead of just, you know, him saying it and then other people saying and her just kind of backing out and not saying anything, the judge asks her, like, what do you think about your client stepping down? So then Vivian says, there is processing. There is a mechanism in place. It is just inappropriate to even ask Jamie to step down. There were so many misstatements in Britney's testimony and hysteria on the record. Britney's beliefs are wrong. How can you even say that somebody else's beliefs are wrong? Continue. She then said she does not think Britney understands what happened. I don't think you understand what happened to you. That's what she's saying. Everyone should have the opportunity to share their perspective, and Jodi needs to talk to Jamie this weekend, and they need to come up with a plan. Britney's claims are unsubstantiated. She then said Britney has these beliefs that her father is responsible for all the bad things that have happened to her, which is misinformed, it's ill-advised, and she is giving a testimony without the other side being able to tell their side of the story. She said, before everything went sideways, we need to get back to that. Britney's beliefs are wrong. Jamie needs to share his perspective. She said, I think it's important to remind everyone that Britney is here voluntarily. I'm sorry, that's just funny. This is a special proceeding, a conservatorship, so the teams can come up with a resolution. She said Jamie is not going to resign this way. Judge Penny then said everyone should be working together to get Britney where she wants to get. It isn't about anyone else. So, like, what I think she meant by that is Britney wants this conservatorship to end. So everybody should be working together to get Britney what she wants, which is for this to end. So instead of trying to work together to keep her in it, everybody should be working together to get her out of it. She then, kind of started bitching at the lawyers a little bit for filing all these motions in an untimely manner, which is correct. They were literally filing motions up into the last possible minute, like right before the hearing. So she kind of got on them about that for a little while. And then Vivian then said again, she said, Jamie has been involved since day one, even before this conservatorship. She said Jamie has been available to Britney 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for the past 13 years. But, of course, hearing Britney talk, that's definitely not the case. And I love how she said that Jamie's been involved even before this conservatorship, which he really wasn't. If you've ever, if you're a true Britney fan, you know that her dad was never around, and all her dad ever wanted from her was money. He was a drunk, he was abusive, and he was never really in her life until she had all this money. And the second, it's like he was like a fucking parasite or like a shark. And as soon as he saw weakness, he went right in there, man, and took advantage of that weakness and just annihilated her. He is the shark here. He is the fucking parasite, my opinion. There is a lot of, Vivian continues, there's a lot of evidence Jamie has always been guided by her best interest. I'm sorry, say what? She said there's a lot of evidence out there that Jamie has always been guided by Britney's best interest. Jamie loves his daughter. I feel like that is all this woman says. Like that entire media tour, all she said was Jamie loves his daughter. Ugh. She always said, so she also said, Jamie is hurt and he has struggled. She said she wanted to give Mr. Rosengart the opportunity to get on the same page. And then, after that, she said, I have a feeling that when he reads the full record, we will all be much more on the same page. And she said it like, it sounded like in like a shitty way. Like she knows that there's something hidden in that record. And as soon as he reads the full record, he'll agree with her. Like, that's what it sounded like. It was just, ugh. So, there was 9 issues that did not get resolved. There was 15 issues, and there was 9 that didn't get resolved. But one of those issues will be resolved on Monday at 3 p.m., and that is, of course, Jodi's security issue. The rest of the issues will be heard on September 29th. Now, it was between September 8th and September 29th. Now, everybody else agreed on September 8th except Vivian, Jamie's lawyer. She couldn't do it. So, they had to do September 29th. So, now Britney has to wait 2 more months before she can go back to court again or hear anything. Except for what she gets to hear on Monday, and that is if Jodi's going to be able to take a bunch more money from her. But Jodi Montgomery's papers to be the conservator expire on September 3rd, so the judge extended them until October 8th. That is everything that happened in court on Wednesday, so we will continue to see what's going to happen Monday and then September 29th, and we will see what happens. So right now, Britney has her own lawyer. He has a little bit of time. He has about 2 months before the next hearing. He can get in there. He can read the thousands and thousands of pages. Get up to speed on everything. Hopefully they can uncover a lot of shit that has been going on. And hopefully she can get out of this. So I also want to say before I end this video that when I was going through all of these motions and everything, going back in the motions, I saw, you know, how recently Lynne's lawyer objected to the almost $1 million, it was about $1 million being spent on that media tour that Jamie's lawyer spent on the media tour trying to make Jamie look like a good guy. And so they objected to that because they're like, whoa, wait, hey, why is Britney paying for this? Britney clearly does not want her dad around. She doesn't want him in her life or as her conservator at all. She wants out of this, and he is spending $1 million of her money having his lawyer do a media tour, try to make him look better, to trying to save his image. How is that beneficial to Britney at all? It's not. So they objected to that because Britney shouldn't have to pay for that. I mean, come on. Well, in the motions, they were saying, Jamie's lawyer was saying that the continued and global media coverage of this made it to where they had to speak out. They couldn't not. And I'm just thinking, like, girl, you were in the Framing Britney documentary. Like, she was in that documentary. You didn't wait until the global coverage was out of control and you had to do something. You were in that documentary. Like, that was before any of this even started. That is what kicked off the global thing. And she was in that documentary, so what? And she charges $1,000 an hour. Her rate is $1,000 an hour, and he has like 10 lawyers, and all the other lawyers are like $600, $800 an hour. But I think it was like 50 hours or something, and like 34 of those hours were probably on camera. And another lawyer brought this up, and I thought it was funny. Her name is Emily Baker. She does live streams about the motions as well on this case. And she said, I wonder if he has to pay for when she's sitting there getting her makeup done. Because, you know, he's paying for this whole media tour. Well, Britney's paying for it. He's taking it out of Britney's money. But if she's getting paid $1,000 per hour and doing this media tour, I wonder if she's charging for while she's getting her makeup done also. Because she brought this up and it was funny because I guess technically, yeah, she's right. Because if you're sitting there getting your makeup done for 2 hours, you're getting your makeup done so you can go on camera, and you're going on camera so that you can help him with his image. And I mean, you're getting your makeup done so you can't do any other work, so you might as well write it off, right? So I wonder, I really do wonder if he had to pay for her to like get her makeup done for the documentary and for the media tours and stuff. But anyway, so that is everything, you guys. It is looking up. It is finally, you guys, finally it is looking up. And hopefully this lawyer is going to come in and just smash everything and call out everybody. And Britney will be free. And the people who did this to her will be charged and prosecuted. So that is all for tonight, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys made it to the end, thank you so much. If you liked this video or found it informative, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it, and it would really, really help. And if you guys could leave me a comment, I would love that as well. I love hearing all of your thoughts and opinions about everything that we talk about on this channel. So let me know what you think down below. And if you guys are not subscribed to my channel, please do so. I would really love to have you guys in the family, and you know you want to subscribe. And until next time, you guys, in a world where you can be anything, just please be kind to each other, you guys. You never know when a stranger is having a bad day, and just a smile could turn their day around. So that is all. Thank you. I love you guys. I will see you soon. Bye.